Welcome to Community Keys. Our mission is to spotlight the Impact Theory community members, where they came from, how they got here, and where they are headed. I would like to encourage our audience to reach out to these members, make friends, build relationships, and lift each other up. I would like to introduce our first guest here today. His name is Erik Caputo. If you've ever seen the watermelon meme, he's the legend behind that. He graduated from the University of Delaware and is pursuing an MBA from Villanova. Currently in tech consulting for Deloitte and is big into soccer and other health-related activities. How are you doing today, Erik?
Good, George. Did your research there. It's pretty cool.
Yep. Well, so for the audience who doesn't really know you that well, let's start from the beginning about who you were growing up.
Yeah. So growing up, I think, I don't know, I was a big nerd going through like middle school, high school. I was big into video games. I really didn't get into like sports and athleticism until maybe like my senior year of high school and then moving into college. So I was kind of ingrained with all of the old school, I guess, gaming and stuff like that. I was definitely into everything that was an RPG. Like RPGs were always my thing. And then,
Do you have a favorite one?
taking Skyrim is definitely
Right.
top tier, or Fallout. Any of the Fallouts really. Fallout 3 was the start of it though, but when I picture the metaverse, I picture it like a big RPG type of thing, almost like Ready Player One. So that's always exciting. And then from there, I went to college, went to the University of Delaware, studied MIS, so Management Information Systems, and then I co-opted from there with Deloitte, who I then joined after I graduated for the last 4 years. I currently actually work for ed tech company, so I left Deloitte last December, and now I do project management for an ed tech company.
Awesome. So during like your work experience, like is there any one of those opportunities that resonated with you the most in terms of either the ed tech or the more business tech consulting side of things?
So yeah, I mean, I really liked consulting. I think to my core, I'm like a people person. So the aspect of consulting where I was associating with high level, either C-suite or directors of various areas of a business was interesting to build my network out, and then also learn just hearing the way they speak, the way they operate, and the way that they run their business. So that's what I really liked about consulting. The issue, I think, with consulting and COVID specifically, and which is why I ended up leaving, is, the benefits to consulting is, yeah, you're going to work 70-hour weeks, but you're going to be doing it in cool cities or different areas of the US. So like I was out in California pretty regularly, down in Texas pretty often. But then when COVID hit, they stopped all travel. So I was just working, 70 hours from a studio in Philadelphia, which when you don't leave your house kind of sucks. So I got out of that. And then now my work-life balance is better on my mental health and physical health.
Yeah. So for like consulting, you said you traveled a lot. Is there any places that you've been to that you found like really scenic, since I know you're into hikes, or just that a city that you enjoyed?
So scenic, not from traveling for work, but places that I've traveled to. Costa Rica is gorgeous. I recommend Costa Rica to everyone. I've also hiked in Alaska a bit. So I was out in Juneau, which is capital Alaska, beautiful area, and there's fantastic hikes around there. And then I also took like a helicopter ride to a glacier. So I was like walking on a glacier, very cool stuff. As far as cities to travel to, I really like Boston in the summer. Boston's just a historic, beautiful city without the cold. But once like this time of year hits, I'm out of there.
It's really cold up there.
Yeah. And then I really liked LA and San Fran, but California is just a different speed. The West Coast is very different than East Coast.
Yeah. Well, what's it called? So that's really awesome that you traveled so far. like you've been to so many places. It's really amazing. Honestly, I wish I definitely traveled as much. And I'll definitely have to hit you up whenever I do decide to, because like Alaska seems really awesome with like all the scenic stuff. But yeah, so I would like to start jumping into more about you and your journey into NFTs within impact theory, or just like NFTs in general, and like what stood out to you from the tech side of things as well.
Yeah. So I guess I'm gonna take it back to like crypto first. So I got into crypto in like 2017, and I invested a lot of money into crypto, and I was doing very well until I think like January of 2018 is when there was a huge crash, and I lost a good amount of what I invested. So I just took a big step back and reevaluated what I was investing in, and if I really thought that it was going to be the future, which if I would have kept it in until now, I would have been doing fine. But you know, FOMO or whatever they call it, FUD, I have no idea. And then I recently got into like NFTs through my buddy. His Discord name is Fuzznator. So he had originally reached out to me like 6 months ago. I guess a brief backstory is we've been working together. He was also ex-Deloitte, and we've been working together for the last 5 years and just became very good friends. 6 or 7 months ago, he was like, do you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is? And I was like, I know of him, of course. I think everyone knows who he is. And he's like, well, he's doing these things called NFTs, and he's explaining it to me. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I don't see where the value is. I don't understand how you're going to drop, you know, $6,000 on this piece of digital art. And I just didn't understand NFTs at the time. Hindsight 2020, because 4 months later, I, you know, ingrained myself in NFTs and all the different assets of where it could go. And I'd buy the same amount of money, but of his books, in the hopes that, you know, his book NFT ends up exploding as much as his series one, which I realistically, who knows, but if I would have just took, you know, that money and listened to my friend to begin with, I would have been doing much better than I am now.
Lots of people back then, just like even me, like I got into it. I didn't really understand it fully, but like that was the first project I really started looking into and like understanding NFTs through. Because prior to that, there weren't really any like utility based NFTs as much as there is now, especially with impact theory is one of the best impact like utility based NFTs out there. But yeah, and then so what got you into like impact theory after that? Like, how did you find out about this one?
Yeah, so I mean, I was aware. I guess when I bought the books, that's when I started paying a lot more attention to Discord, and that's also when I started building a Twitter, because I mean, before that, I never had a Twitter. I didn't see the use of it. It was almost going to be like another social network that I might drain, you know, the hours of my day into, which I do that, yes, but I do it, and it's very beneficial now because I'm building these networks that I wouldn't have had the opportunity to build before. I got into impact theory right at, I think as soon as the Discord came out, I was, I don't know, number 300 into the Discord. I was following, I knew who Tom was prior to anything NFT, just of impact theory and his podcast and his YouTube page, etc. And then I never really paid it too much attention. You know, it was just something to watch when I was either bored or I was just trying to like kill some time. And then again, my buddy Fuzznator was like, yo, this feels like it's going to be the next big thing. It's the next big like name that I know of that's getting into this space. Could be the next Gary Vee, who knows? Let's keep watch on it. So we both ended up joining the Discord. I was looking at it. I was looking at how he planned to use it. At first, it was more so building a community and building my network. So I just hopped in and I was just kind of BSing around, talking to people, trying to, you know, push my name around, which is why I go by ItsErik. I feel like there's very few people that are going to just use the Discord name Erik. So when it does come up, it's got to be something with me. That's the goal. But then after seeing like the roadmap and seeing the conviction that Tom has and the stuff that he talks about, it's stuff that I feel like, I've been saying to myself for a while. Like some of the stuff that he says, like, I have two goals in life: to have like 8-pack abs and be a millionaire. I'm like, same dude. Like I've been saying the same shit. Yeah, like I've been saying the same thing forever. And I wake up every day and I'm like, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be rich. I do daily affirmations. I just know, I have a feeling in my stomach that it's going to come one day. I just need to keep my efforts going. So I ended up getting into, everything that we do at Impact Theory, and then starting the whole watermelon thing. Kind of built a lot of the community and trying to, again, with the hopes that I'm building like a name for myself in the community, or people will recognize who I am when I like talk to people. I just kind of started that and took that to where it's at now.
So are you surprised with how like you just started it, doing your own thing, and then were you surprised by how like it was just like so widely adopted, and then like just what it grew into, like what it is today?
Yeah, I mean, definitely surprising to see how well it was adopted. I think that, the tools that people have, or just like human nature, that when you see something that is abnormal for some semblance, like a melon in the chat, or why are my comments always being like liked by melons? It makes people question, like, what is that? What's it mean? And then when you start to get a group of people that are attached to that meme and they're like, well, only the insiders know, or like this guy knows, or you just kind of make it a mystery, people just become more curious about it and want to get to know more, and then build a community around it. Because we ended up taking it to like a different Discord, Iconic Secret, which is another one that we were but like hopped into to see what was going on, and all the watermelons spread there, and now they're spreading onto other Discords. It's interesting. I really think that it's just like a web now, and people are just kind of using it.
It even spread into the Mary Mod's teaser trailer, if you saw on the gift wrap. I'm pretty sure for the present, there's watermelon symbols on it.
Oh, so that's so funny.
It's like definitely spreading, and it's honestly just taking a life of its own, and it's so awesome that you created it just like kind of just out of nowhere, and like that is just grown into like a community thing. So many people question about it, so this is the video people can point them to learn more about like the origins of it, and also just like the wide vast, like how vast it's just grown, and how many different things it's been touching, from especially with like the NFTs with the Secret project. Definitely go check him out on Twitter, but he helps out Tom a lot as well, and everyone just loves the watermelons. So super thankful for you just dropping it in chats. Definitely is a great way to like galvanize the community around like one thing, especially when it comes to memes and the NFT community. Like in NFTs in general, memes carry so much weight to them. So
for sure. Yeah. And big props to Impact Theory for really tucking into it, because I imagine the first day where I was like, let's throw a bunch of watermelons in the chat and everyone's fucking watermelon, they're probably so confused. Like, what is this? I have no idea. But big props to them for diving into it and including it in some stuff. That definitely built on that as well.
But yeah, so for so now we figure out like where you came from, about your journey into NFTs and Impact Theory. Is there anything that you're working on now, or plan to branch off to into the future, either with NFTs, with Impact Theory, or just in your personal life journey?
Yeah, I mean, as was mentioned, I'm going to Villanova for my MBA. I want to specialize in artificial intelligence and emerging technologies like blockchain and ideally NFTs. That's going to be a 3-year process for me to get to that point where I graduate with that. But where I really see this community and environment in 3 to 5 years is going to be almost day and night. I think the adoption of NFTs until that point is going to be tremendously increased amongst the community and amongst more popular culture. So ideally, right, I can take the education that I have, and over the next couple of years, really build a network either through the communities in Discord, Twitter, etc., and forge out a name for myself within this space, and then capitalize on some area that is NFTs. I have ideas of certain projects that me and my buddy are working on. I have ideas of consultancies where you can operate within a business, or you go and step into a business that wants to get into the NFT space, analyze their business model and the way that they operate, and see where they would fit into a market, or how they could take an NFT concept and put it in play for their industry, and then determine market value and do some market research to see if there's any competitors. I mean, I feel like there's just so much to do in this space. This is almost like, again, if you take it back to when I think Web 2 started, right? And websites and people like making their own stores online, and trying to understand how I can take our physical store and turn it into an online store. It's almost the same thing as, okay, now I have a physical store, I have an online store. How do I take that into the NFT space, which is going to be a completely different environment for the metaverse, et cetera, and how to build and capitalize on all the money that's flowing into it right now. So, I mean, that's ideally what I would like to get into long term, and hopefully building the connections here helps. But
that's really awesome. I mean, you just like that, there's so much opportunity in that, especially when it comes to, like, you made a great analogy with like Web 2, and no one really knew the power of websites until everyone had a website. And then that's only going to change with like the metaverse, like you said, but also NFTs is like the starting point for all of that. So I think that's like super awesome that you're getting into that. And I wish you the best of luck in those endeavors. And if anyone here is looking for some sort of like advice, maybe reach out to Erik. So
yeah, for sure. I'm always open.
Yep. So prior to the last question, I would like to encourage everyone to go follow Erik on Twitter at Erik Caputo. And you can also add him in the Impact Theory Discord. All of this info will be in the show notes, so feel free to go check them out there. And with that being said, for the final question, what is one lesson that you would want to teach your children or the younger version of yourself because of the impact it had on your life?
Oh, that's a good one. I think something that I didn't learn until I was a bit older is the power of being a bit more social. I think I was a very reserved kid in terms of always feeling like I didn't want to embarrass myself in any way, and not doing things because I was afraid of the judgment of others. If I could have, taken, I guess, my confidence or my lack of caring about what other people think that I have now and instilled it in me 10 years ago, the stuff that I would have gotten into back then, just because I didn't, because I was afraid of, judgment in some way, I think I would have been a much happier person. So that's definitely one thing. I do want to correct you on one thing though. Twitter's ItsErik Caputo.
It's Erik Caputo. Yep. So yeah, I definitely like resonate with that. I was definitely more reserved as well. And just like not caring about what other people think is really strong messaging and empowering for many people out there. So I want to appreciate, like, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be here with me and the audience and telling us your story. And as for the audience, I want to leave everyone off with the reminder that relentless heroes become legendary. Join the Discord, follow Erik, and until next time, peace.
That was dope.